Good evening and welcome to November Foxtrot. Hi, Gaz. Thanks for jumping in the chat so quickly. I'm going to take these off. Oh, Paul's joined us.
Oh, hello. Oh, look.
You all right?
Yeah, I can't stay for long. I thought I'd just pop on and say hello with this one.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
She is literally about to go nuclear. She's hungry, so.
Oh, yeah. There it goes.
There we go. Just want everyone to know that I'm still alive. And
play,
we'll be
mate.
back on soon.
Oh, look. Oh, look at the little cheeks.
Well, mine.
Little beauty. Yeah, Isabella's not too
Unfortunately,
bad
having 4
either.
weeks off work and spending most of the time in the family room, which is also our kitchen, isn't very conducive to a diet, apparently.
Oh, congratulations, mate.
One say you've got to feed the machine, so.
Very wise man said that, I tell you.
So anyway, all the best. I'm going to be watching in the background. But have a good evening, guys, and I will be back. Hopefully, try and squeeze one in next week.
Oh,
Cool.
to you, sir.
All right.
See you
Hello,
later, mate.
buddy.
And if anyone asks, the ceiling still hasn't been painted.
Good on you, bud.
Catch you later on.
See you,
mate.
Ta-da.
Oh,
So,
last
hi,
impromptu
gents.
visit. Evening all.
How are we?
Evening.
All good, all good, all good. Look, everyone's gone to mush now on the chat. Oh, look at the little baby.
Ray just said, sup Homeslice, really. As it comes to this, guys, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. Yeah, so I like to try and start every episode because I've got to write a spiel when I set the episode up. So I always try and find a fun way to say hello. And I'll be honest, I've been Googling them the last few weeks because my barrel of how to say hello is running a little dry. So I'll try and find something better next week. But
Nice.
yeah. Hi, Andy. Gaz, future Airsoft in the making. Wayne,
Absolutely.
hi. Thanks for
Evening,
joining.
Wayne. Hi.
So, come on in, Mike. You were talking about your night vision just before we started the episode.
Oh no! I think we were just saying. Obviously, been an interesting week. Just a few sort of things have happened. So Paul Howe has sold his nice Gen 2 Plus units, and he's going to be picking up a very nice Gen 3 unit within the next couple of weeks. And equally, my Gen 3 unit's gone, and I've got another Gen 3 unit coming, which again is just, I think, as we were saying, I had a very nice Gen 3 monocular, but equally I've had an opportunity to get my hands on a nicer one. So obviously a few deals, sort of between myself, Paul and another lad, who we know that obviously everything's moved around and moved on. So fingers crossed that obviously we have now a sniff of normality creeping back in within the next sort of 5 to 6 weeks, which is fantastic for everyone.
Absolutely.
When the new night games come along, all of the technology will be ready for it. So yeah. Obviously, exciting times. Expensive, but exciting times.
Yes. Cha-ching.
Gaz says we're all hard Airsoft operators until a baby is shown. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. Just go
Hey, and there they are.
completely to jelly.
Octo 8 is on the shout as well.
Yeah.
Gents,
Good evening, gents.
I don't know.
Mr. Tim.
I can only speak for myself, but I am very excited for the Octo 8 event, which hopefully finally will be going ahead.
Yes. Touch wood. Where's the rafters?
Definitely. So yeah, that's great. So thanks for joining us. So I'm sure, like I say, like everyone else, like I say, I can't speak for you guys, but I'm sure we're all absolutely buzzing now that there is finally light at the end of the tunnel. We're all seeing a lot of sites starting
Fingers
to open
crossed.
up. Again, equally, ahead of that, if we all behave ourselves and don't lick each other on the face and whatnot, then fingers crossed, normality will happen sooner rather than later.
I'm getting my jab tomorrow so I can lick who I like.
Ah, lovely. And
Well, I've had mine, so you can lick me to your heart's content.
Yeah. See, I feel a bit left out. I think I'm pretty sure I'm the oldest out of the three of us, and I've not had my fucking jab yet. So
But we can lick you, Mike, if you want.
I've got no problems with that. So, only if I can choose the area where you live.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
And it's not behind the ear.
Just jump into chat. Hi, James, Mike, Sean, Terry, Andy, Bob. Cannot wait to jump into the MilSims this year properly. Can't agree more. Can't agree more.
It's going to be a good one, hopefully. Get a fair few events under our belts again this year. Although I must admit, after the first one that we all attended, it's just going to be like, what happened? I wasn't ready for that. I'm aching. I'm sore.
I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah, whose idea was this? This is a bloody stupid idea.
Just out with your walking stick, just hobbling along.
Yeah, just hobble. I'm going to be an actor for the next one. I'm just going to hobble in the background.
Oh, blimey. Right, so obviously this evening, gents, we are all discussing iPro and FacePro. But before we jump into that, I just wanted to just recap our giveaway. So for those that aren't aware, we've been posting some stuff on our socials. We are running a giveaway that will run until, I think we said the 25th of June.
Thereabouts.
The idea is that we basically want to find someone to give a MilSim in a bag to. So this, someone that potentially, they've had all their gear nicked, lost in a fire or flood, or they're an NHS hero, or just someone that's deserving of just a nice giveaway, really. We're not after any kind of recognition for this. We just genuinely want to try and create a little bit of light for someone, surprise them with a bit of a present. So
that's it. Yeah.
It's not the giveaway where Lance gives away some pouches, unfortunately. That'll come later in the year.
We'll have to wait and see what happens at Christmas, Rage, all right? You've been very persistent. I do like someone who's very persistent. So we'll see what Father Christmas brings you this year, okay?
Oh, that's a good plan. We've already started planning the Christmas do.
Don't.
So yeah, if anybody wants to nominate anybody sort of in particular, you can find out all the details on our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and whatever the other one is, email. If you want to nominate someone specifically, please do so at nofochat@hotmail.com. I know a few people have tried nominating through our Facebook page. I've set an automated response on that. The only reason is I can't accept them on there because we get so many messages. I just lose track, to be honest with you. So I want to make sure they come through on the email and I can properly put them in a proper folder and sort of keep track of them all. So if anybody's got anybody that they want to nominate, even if you're not sure what you want to add in your nomination, if you're not sure what to sort of say, just get in touch with one of us. We can sort of give advice on that as well. So cool.
Absolutely. Yep.
So
it's a well-worthy cause, guys.
Goggles, ballistic rating goggles. We're not going to talk about the ballistics aspect of it too much because we're not experts on it, fundamentally. What I will do is there is a really, really good article that Airsoft Nation produced a little while ago, and I've just put a link to that in the chat below. I'll make sure I post it up on our Facebook and Instagram properly as well. But I highly recommend that if anybody's got any interest in checking that their iPro is satisfactory, have a look at that, because I did a little test earlier to see what was suitable for Airsoft. And in my left hand are 2 pairs of goggles that are technically ballistic rated. And in my right hand are about 20 pairs of goggles that aren't. So I'm going to be looking at some new iPro coming up. Because, I want to protect my eyes. I don't want to go blind.
Absolutely.
What do you guys use?
One set.
Exactly. What do you guys use?
Go on, Lance, you go first, mate.
Well, I've got the Revision Sawfly, which is my go-to glasses. I've got them in clear, smoked, and the yellow, obviously, for during the day. These yellows, especially in woodland, the yellow lenses have been sublime. For me, these, I don't know what it is, but they don't fog up. I'll tell you when I tend to get fogging issues with glasses. It's at night time when I'm looking through my thermal scope. Now, whether that's because I've got to press up against it a bit more or something, and there's heat there, but that's the only time I ever get a fogging issue is usually at night looking through a scope, and I have to really actually press the eye cup open to actually view the screen of the thermal scope. That's the only time I'll get a fogging issue, and it's not straight away. It sort of builds up, and then as soon as I'm away, 15-20 seconds, it sort of clears. But that's the only time I get a fogging issue. During the day running about and that, for what it is with these, I mean, all I actually do, and it's probably going to sound a bit disgusting, is like the snorkeling mask trick. A little bit of gob, rub it on your top, inside and outside, and that's honestly, that's just, I don't know what it is, but these glasses for me don't fog up. So I mean, I've got cleaning wipes here. You can get hundreds of these in the pound shop, and just them ones, just for wiping out the lenses, cleaning off any cam cream you've got on your nose, and it goes all up in the nose piece and all that. But fogging wise, but them Surefly glasses are been spot on for me. Nice and comfortable. Barely notice the clear ones. You don't even know you've got them on. There's been many times where I've walked out of a harbour area or a fob, and then sort of got like 2 minutes down the track and gone, oh, I've got my glasses on, and you're like, oh shit, yes I have. But it's just literally just crystal clear. They're a lovely lens. They're really good, and they're so comfortable. So that's the only sort of eye protection I use is just these, and these have been absolutely spot on. And I've been slammed in the face by snipers, everything. I've had LMGs, it laced me up in the face, and obviously the rest of the mush gets a good battering, but the eyeballs have been all right. So yeah, these have been absolutely bob on for me. Really happy with them. So yeah, they're more ones.
Yeah, so I run a bit of a selection for sort of different things, really. So I suppose to caveat it, I'm an exceptionally sweaty man, so I really, really struggle with.
I've missed you saying that.
There you go. And so for me, up until recently, and I'll come on to these last. Very much everything's been about mesh for me. So I always remember going to my first event with a set of, I think it was Bolly or Bowl, whatever you want to call them, and 5 minutes in, fucking useless, just literally steamed. No good. Ended up going back to the safe zone. Taking them off and buying from the site a set of their mesh goggles, which were all right, let's say. But then I stumbled across, again, a bit of a stalwart of the Airsoft Society, mesh Hero Shark. So these are Hero Shark Makos or Macos.
Nice.
Hexagonal mesh just lets that a little bit more in as well. So they are based on like a Bolly set, because Hero Shark's a very, very clever lad. And obviously just pops out obviously the normal lens and puts his strength and mesh in. And I just found that this mesh, is coloured green, which probably doesn't come across particularly well on the camera. And actually it lets quite a bit of light in, and compared to the
you can see that from where you're holding up as well, Mike.
Yeah,
actually, you can actually make out you through the lenses better.
Based on like the run of the mill ones, they do quite a good job, to be honest with you. So I've got these. These have always been my go-to. Never let me down. I've been sort of twonked in the face a few times, and I can't say it's ever been an issue. But that's only my personal preference. So I've got them. Interestingly, you gents have talked about revision sawflies, because I'm going to look like Kanye West or Stevie Wonder, dare I say it, when I put these on. But so these are, again, it's the same mesh. Again, it just comes across as very dark, but these are revision sawflies with Hero Shark mesh.
Nice.
So the reason why I run these, and again, it's probably similar to what you've said, Lance. So at night, you do fog up quite a bit at night. You got your bits on your head, blah 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 blah. So this for me means at night when I'm out, I don't have any sort of snood or anything on. I want to try and sort of run it a little bit low profile. So I run the mesh, and obviously it just gives me that bit more protection around the side of the face as well. So I'm a lot more susceptible to the lower, being twatted in the face with a BB, but it just gives me a little bit more. And again, the whole idea of pressing up your thermal or pressing up your green eyes, actually you can press it up, it's not impacting my face, and it gives me a bit more cover. So that's traditionally been that. However, it's always been very frustrating for us sweaty individuals out there that we can't get away with your normal glasses like yourself, Lance. However, there was a YouTube influencer a little while ago that spoke about this particular brand. Sorry for a bit of a shameless plug, but it's by Edge Tactical. Now this person put out there saying they don't fog up, and I was just like, bullshit. I'll take a pair of them, and if I can get them to fog up, which I will, then I'll make that person eat their words. And lo and behold, you know what? They don't fog up. They're really, really good. I was really, really impressed. Really, really impressed with these.
And Mike, do you reckon that's because of the material used, or the design of the glass, or anything to let heat escape?
It's all about the material used, and that I'm not technical in this at all, but it's all made with particular types of lenses, etc. And genuinely, I took this out for a day skirmish. So as we know, skirmishing is a lot more fast paced, and genuinely, I never fogged up once. However, the minute they get sweat on them, they was fucked. But I go back to my old school ways of just wearing headband, because for me,
118 all the way.
Exactly, all my perspiration comes from up there. all comes off the solar panel. So actually, second time out, I just literally had the solar panel going, and I had these on my head. And you know what? never got any sweat onto the glasses. Obviously, I changed my sweatband at half time, so I keep a couple of them. But genuinely, I was fucking blown away. Really, really pleased with that, And there's been a couple of times when I was testing them once. It was thanks to Mr. Motivator. Look, absolutely.
Yeah.
In a work-based scenario, I was sitting in my office. I had my coat on. I had a hat on. I had my mesh snood on, and literally, I was taking phone calls all day. And I'm like, "What the effing hell were you doing?" And I'm like, "I've got these apparently unfoggable glasses, and I'm desperately trying to get them to fog up, and they didn't fog up." So for me, and again, look, this is only me. And it works for me. It may not work for others, but like I say, this is the only ever set of bins I've ever worn that haven't come straight out of the bag, and they do not fog, and they work for me. So yeah, my Edge Tactical, when they was like 25 quid, and they work. But as I said, that works for me. But as I said, they are susceptible, to sweat. So hence why I just go for the Karate Kid headband and go from there. So obviously Rage is saying that he equally sweats like a gentleman who has a pension for children in a playground.
It's about as tactical as a hand grenade, isn't he?
Yeah. So again, like I say, for me, as I said, I'm sure people will try the Edge Tactical and it might not work for them, but genuinely after playing Airsoft for however long it is, that these are a little bit of a game changer for me.
I'm tempted to get some now, just to see if I can get them to fog up.
I'm tempted as well.
Challenge accepted.
I have never had any lens not fog. What sort of price point were they, Mike?
Honestly, I think though I'm going to say between 20 and 30 quid. They're not. I'll find a link. Let me obviously when you guys are chatting, I'll find a link for them. I'll just
definitely, mate. And is there different options available, Mike, or is it literally just that they do like a smoke?
You can get them, and obviously these ones are cleared, but you can get yellows, you can get smoked, and they do some different variations as well. But I mean, I'll put a link in there for them. Like I say, it was a couple of fairly credible influencers that started talking about these, and I thought, you know what, if for the sake of 20-30 quid, if they work, then absolutely brilliant. So it's good
why not, mate? Definitely.
That range
might see if I can get a set for Octo and test them there.
Definitely, but So I will, like I say, I will stick something in there as well. But like I say, for me, and when I wore them, I was sniping that day, so I had a mesh snood over my face. Obviously, I have a boonie. The boonie's pulled right down as well, so the mesh is up over my ears. I've got the boonie. I've then got the the Karate Kid sweatband, and I had them on. And like I say, it was a warm day, and they didn't do them. So yeah, and Gaz is saying tacticalkit.co.uk, and I think it might have been.
That was Andy Bob asked a question whether you can get prescription lenses for the sawflies, and I believe you can. Gaz just said there, so yeah, perfect. There we go.
Excuse just tapping in the background. I'm just typing it in. Edge Tactical Eyewear UK. And again, right. So interesting that tacticalkit.co.uk is the place where I got my Edge Tactical idea from. And these particular ones, I'll find a link and I'll put it in there. So for me, it's 3 different things what I use. As I said, and it does vary. Like I say, I will try and stick with these 24/7 now. And it'd be interesting to try these out on a few night events coming up. But certainly, if I can move away from the mesh to something that is a bit more genuinely ballistic rated, and actually, there's no sort of like hexagonal blockers or having to sort of tweak it to get the optimum when looking for a scope, then if these can remain there, I will be a very, very happy man on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I used to have a set of mesh goggles when I first started out, actually, and I can't remember who gave me the tip now. I think it might have been Kenny. And it was obviously because they were a black mesh, was to spray the internal side of them in a lighter colour, whether like a dark or a desert or even white. And it obviously looking through them, you'll always see that in a peripheral vision. You'll always see that little tiny bit of the mesh there in your forefront of your vision, sort of thing. But when it's sprayed out in a lighter colour, your eyes seem to focus through the lens, through the mesh more. Do you know what I mean? Rather than sort of catching the corner of it there, and all you can see is the mesh, and you're like, "Oh, let's do my head in." But because it was such a light colour, you barely noticed it, and it actually helped loads. I was actually quite comfortable wearing mesh goggles after that. But then obviously I went into the sawfly and never looked back really. So, but yeah, for the mesh users out there, if you do have dark internal side of your mesh, little rattle can and spray it light, spray it white, or spray it a light grey, and you'll notice the massive difference with your vision for them, especially during the day and that as well. There we go. Mike's the man. Oh, look at serious.
I think these are actually yours. I think you
Are they
got
mine?
these.
Oh, there you go. There'd be the ones then. So yeah, I wasn't bullshitting. I actually did do that.
Yeah. I mean,
What about you,
to be
then,
honest
Mr.
with
Fraser?
you, I'm exactly the same. So I love the sport of airsoft, and I have tried everything under the sun. I mean, there was a comment earlier on from somebody, I think it was Gaz, that says, there we go. I'm wary of mesh. I've had too many BB shatters on my face mask. Can't replace an eyeball. Now, I completely agree with that. I completely agree with the concept of full seal as well. So I'm always concerned about any risk to my eyes. I mean, I work in construction, so that I'm very conscious of the PPE aspect. However, I love airsoft so much. If I can't wear mesh, I can't play the sport because I can't see. Like, I am so foggy as soon as I put anything on. I mean, I've tried all sorts. These are a pair of Bolly goggles. These are the Bolly X800s. I'll talk about them in a little second. Smith Boogie optic regulators. I've got all sorts of stuff. But mesh is usually the most consistent sort of pair of goggles that I've got. I mean, they're the ones that I generally tend to use. Sort of, I think it's these Viper ones at the moment. I am going to be replacing these soon because the paint is starting to chip off on the inside. But they are effectively full seal. And whilst I agree with the concept of BBs potentially shattering on goggles and stuff, I've been hit in the face with these a fair few times and never had a problem. I've never had the issue with like paint flecking off and sort of getting into my eye. The only thing I have had was I think it was at Longmoor. We were in the sand fob place. There was a gust of wind and it genuinely blew a little bit of sand into my eye. That was the only thing I've ever had with these. So I always opt for those, but I'm always keen to try new stuff. So I'll definitely give those Edge Tactical a go. I wanted to talk about these ones. These are ones quite good. So these are my Smith Optics Boogie regulators. Now these, I don't know if you can make out. They actually have a series of perforations along the top. They used to have a little sliding bit of plastic that you could actually open and shut those vents, but that sort of snapped off over time. But the vents in there allow a little bit of airflow to come through. I've actually used Sugru on the bridge there to kind of give it a slightly better fit over the nose as well. But these are great for about 20 minutes, and it depends on the temperature. It depends on what sort of conditions the day are and the like, and how much running around I'm doing. But they fog up. I've had the Bolly X800, so these operate with a slightly surface-mounted lens. So I don't know if you can see that the lens actually sits. I've had
some of them similar, yeah.
So again, I tried these because I thought, well, if the issue with fogging is obviously sort of insufficient airflow, obviously, you've got stuff basically building up on the inside. So I thought, well, if you've got a clear lens, a clear gap at the top and bottom of the lens, then there's more airflow. Again, these lasted maybe about an hour, and then these started fogging up. And I've tried all sorts of anti-fogging stuff, cat crap. I imported some of that from the States.
What's that little dishes? I've seen them in my local airsoft store. In Crawley Surplus, he's got them on the counter there. Dan, he's got them on the counter. And there's this tiny little clear tub with almost like a pink sponge inside it. I don't know if anyone's come across that, but every time I've been in there, people have said, "Oh, if you get fogged up on your glasses, that stuff is the stuff to get." It's quite expensive. It's like £6-7, and it's a very small. It's almost like a tiger balm size tub. Do you know what I'm on about, Mike?
I do.
And it's got a fluorescent pink colour. I can't think of the name of it. That's completely gone.
I've sort of seen variations of what you've seen. I've seen this, like something like Mike F just said, the cat crap one's one that rings a bell, but there's been other people that have come up with, stuff. And again, similar to Mike, I tried one of these from these internet things and again, wiped it on some lenses, and in 10 minutes, no good really. And I think that's the challenge, isn't it? It's, I think some of the guys are putting good suggestions in there. There are fog fans, etc., which works.
Yeah, I'm just gonna jump off the chat for a second because there is something I wanted to show you guys that I don't have with me. So keep chatting. I'll be back.
Yeah,
no worries. I was just gonna go on, Mike. Sorry.
It's just that weird thing with perspiration, isn't it? That, everyone is unique with their own levels of perspiration and what works for them and what doesn't. And I think, I think it's a case of, I think like Mike F, I went through a little bit of, process of elimination, and, for me, it had to be sort of mesh up until now. So, and I genuinely would like to be, in sort of normal lenses all day, but, unfortunately, alas, it doesn't happen, unfortunately. Rage, have you tried anti-fog wipes? I personally have, and they was no good.
See, I've got these ones here, Mike. I mean, with the revision set, obviously you get the cleaning wipes in with the bag as well. But then I've got some. I've used these as well, but again, because of fogging, ESS ant goggles. These are really good, and these are full seal. These are ballistic rated, and these are interchangeable with your smoke and your yellow lenses, and you get a no fog cloth with it as well. Now, at the time, I had these, but didn't have that. That was in another glasses case at home. But just looking at it now, I mean, to apply, moisten the lens surface with a light breath and wipe with no fog cloth. Let dry, if necessary, buff streaks with a dry cotton cloth. So apparently there must be something in this cloth which prevents fogging up. So I might well take that out of me next time. And if I do get a little bit at night or before we go out, I'm going to give them a good buff up and see how this performs. This is the ESS that came with the ESS ant goggles, which I've got here, which I've used. They are good, like I said, and especially for like a CQB type element. If you're going into buildings and that, and you do want all that full seal around your eyes and that, then probably could be a way to go. Obviously, they come with a strap and they come with a lens protected cloth, which obviously you can tuck them inside that when you're not using them. So, but yeah, I mean, it's rare that I've used them. I would always just wear my spectacles, the Sawfly spectacles. So, but yeah, I should try that cloth out.
I know one of the comments in the chat was about fans. Sorry, I got so excited about talking about stuff. Yeah, so Gaz said you can get the fog fans that you fit to goggles. I actually went and forked out for the X-Fog system. So this is my lid. This was actually a reasonable amount of money. So, I mean, this is not me trying to be cheap. I'm quite happy to fork out the money if I can protect my face a bit better. But it's got a little battery pack unit that sits in a pouch on the back of the helmet. What it does is it's then got a I don't know if you can see. There's like a little section of grills there. There's an internal fan that basically it's like an impeller, so it sucks the air in and it runs it out of these tubes, which then I've just got tucked up inside the sort of rim of the helmet. And then I've cut these to the perfect length that I can then just sit these just in the top of my lenses. And I actually ran them on, I think it was the X800 actually, maybe. Oh, I can't remember now. I ran them on a pair of goggles basically, and this was really good. Honestly, it doesn't make a lot of noise. The only issues I did find were that I don't always want to wear my helmet. So obviously having a boonie on is quite, it's a lot more comfortable for running around in. And it dried my eyes out a little bit. So after a little bit of time of wearing this, I found that it does have a variety of settings on there that you can run it to, but for the most part, I just had it on the high setting.
Right.
And it was just drying my eyes out after a while. Now, I mean, I could still use that if we're doing, I think we're sort of planning to go to Longmoor in one of the upcoming events.
As soon as he announces them, the big man himself.
Yeah, I'll probably be running this system because it worked quite well. But I say there are just times when you don't really want to be having that on your head all the time. That's realistically speaking, that helmet, all that's doing is carrying the defogging kit for my goggles at that point. But I've tried everything, and I'm happy to try new stuff.
So, Mike, if you tried running normal glasses, I say normal glasses being like that without any headgear on, out of interest.
Yes. Yeah, genuinely, I am such a hot person. I was the kid at school where you went to, like the jungle gym birthday parties. I was the kid that kind of, when your mum comes to pick you up, looked like I'd just come out of a swimming pool. I am proper sweaty. I quite happily have a sweat off with any of you guys, but yeah.
Fair play. Because I was thinking, because obviously I wear a boonie hat or a little pork pie hat and that a lot of the time, especially during the summer months and that. And obviously it does retain heat. It's a sealed unit at the top. But when I've seen a few pictures cutting about of people just removing the top cap of the hat itself and then replacing that with a bit of scrim netting just to get that heat.
So the boonies I got from UF Pro have got mesh.
That's it. Like a mesh in the top. Yeah.
You're well covered, but there's a couple of sort of strategically placed sort of vents around with mesh around the outside. So I invested in that last year. It's just part of changing my kit to UF Pro. But yeah, there are boonies which help, so it might be worth looking at that as well. But I think it is. I echo Mike's frustration of I wish I could, but for the most part of it I can't. But Mike F, I definitely recommend for the price.
Yeah. No, as soon as we finish,
I'm tempted to try them
being ordered, and I will quite happily give them a go at Octo because that's probably the first event we're going to get out to. I'll run them the whole event. We'll see how we go. you know.
No, definitely. I mean,
That
again,
effect,
I'll bring mine along, and as I said, I'll have some mesh backup anyway. So,
there's a comment from Mission Taylors there. Have done mesh boonie mods. I'm sure you have. Just reeling us in, innit? Again.
I'm glad Mission Taylors is in the chat because I definitely need to have a chat with you at some point.
I'm like that. As soon as he's mentioned something, I'm like that now. He's got one. I've got one.
Well, me and Paul already got a couple of bits on the go with him anyway. It's it's a couple of bits for my X300 carrier, and equally he's doing similar to what he done for my Scar H, elasticated pouches. We're getting some done for the MP7 as well. So so Mission, nicest possible way. It's great for you to join us, but crack on with our bits.
Like your stuff.
Yeah. Let's chat. More machine work.
I'll quickly run through some comments. So Gaz says revision saw fly is my choice. Still got some issued set. Yellow lenses for day and night, and dark ones for the sunshine.
Absolutely, mate, I'm amazed at how good the yellow lenses are for enhancing like woodland and stuff. I mean, it's like a game changer. It's like Predator mode during the day. Fuck it, I love it. Don't make me any better, but it looks good.
Looks good. Octo8, a lot of glasses aren't the right shape for different faces. A tip given to us was to use the blunt end of a pencil rolled around the gaps to see if a 6mm BB would be able to get in. I mean, that's the thing. You see sort of people at some of these events where they've got their goggles on or their glasses or whatever, and they are sitting proud. And I don't know. It's just there's a little bit of me that's the health and safety kind of conscious guy. Like, if you can get your finger inside of that, I'm
confident that I won't get. I won't take with these on. I'm confident that I won't take a BB. I mean, that's tight. That is.
The sawflies are good. They are very much face huggers, aren't they? They're good for that.
I mean,
I'll have to order a pair of them as well.
I'm quite happy that I'd be. It'd have to be a hell of a shot. I'm telling you, to get the only place I could see him getting one in, it would be there, and that's going to be, I don't know how that's going to hit me.
Well, you don't put your back to the enemy anyway, do you, Lance?
Never. No, forward, always forward, always forward. God damn it!
I know in the comments as well. Sorry, Mike, I know you're going through the comments. So Edward Donald put one in there saying, what do you think of hero sharks? So in a nice possible way, we have discussed them, but that's fine. Thanks for joining us late. I've got two sets. So I've got the Makos, and I absolutely rate them for mesh. And for me, they are the only mesh. I think we mentioned that, it's got the hexagonal mesh on there, and equally, it's painted lighter on the inside, so it does naturally let a lot more light in. So I really, really like these. And I think, Lance is, very, very passionate about his revision sawflies. Well, actually, I've got a set of Hero Shark custom-made revision mesh sawflies as well. And again, it just does that whole piece of, as we said, wrapping your face that bit closer, giving you a little bit more as well. So I massively rate Hero Shark.
He's some good kit.
He's very passionate what he does. He can pretty much give you something off the peg, which is brilliant, and has always worked for me for the last 5 or 6 years, or he can do something a bit custom as well. So Sharky Baby gets a huge thumbs up from me.
Bosh. And even Edward, by the way, talking to him the other day, a couple of private messages, all good. That's Funky Gilly. Silly Gilly, I think.
Silly Gilly.
Yes. Yeah. Funky Gilly, that's terrible. Do apologise.
Paul Howe, I'm not sure. Thanks, Paul, for joining the chat. We've not spoken before.
Welcome along, Paul.
Need contact lenses, really. I use 3M Maxim ballistics with fog off. I mean, this is the thing. I'm happy to try stuff. I mean, when I've been to events and stuff, various people have given me things, going, oh, yeah, try that. And I try it, and then literally half an hour later, I'm just sneaking my goggles back out of my pocket and putting them back on so I can see. And it does exclude me from a night stuff as well. Like, unless I'm relatively static in what we're doing at night, I don't want to come back from the weekend with a broken leg.
Funny how it excludes you when you've got your hammock set up as well at night time.
Well, there is that as well. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, fogged up lads, just holding it over a kettle.
Yeah,
look how foggy his glasses look.
Simon says, I managed to wear some bolly yellow tints all weekend at NAE, fogged up first half hour on both days, but cleared and stayed clear for the rest of the day on both days. Well, that's the other thing. So I have a sneaky suspicion that goggles, you need to obviously get into a proper temperature, that they do balance that air out. And I am appealing to Ford Motor Company to come out with whatever you use in your windscreens, put that into some goggles, because I want the little
heated lenses.
heated lenses, because I reckon that's a product of the future. Because that must be the way to get rid of it. Although it would be a nightmare for thermal, because you would have like loads of people just wandering around with big bright eyes.
Terrifying bright eyes just coming at you, wouldn't it? Out the trees. It'd be like
There's just Mike in the corner, just literally popping them off because you can see them all.
Feel like Mr. Burns in The Simpsons just coming out.
Oh, blimey. Right, hang on. Mark says always have problems with fogging up. Yeah.
Well, it's these. What was it? You said the brand of those glasses were Mr. Mod
Edge Tactical.
Edge Tactical.
Yeah.
They're going to sold out by the time I actually get to buying some of these, aren't they?
I see, yeah. There better be some left by the end of the show.
That's what happened with the, the little bungee clips. Like
That's right. Yeah, we bought all the Amazon stock.
And literally, we went to buy a load, and they'd all gone.
That's right.
So, Rages says I get my seeing glasses from a company called RX Sport that can make prescription safety goggles and glasses for MTP skiing and stuff. I imagine they could make some prescription ballistic glasses. That's the other thing. I mean, I know my eyesight's going, and I am genuinely concerned at some point that I'm going to have to switch over to sort of glasses or contact lenses as well.
I think you should go like full steampunk. big brass cylinders and massive lenses on. Fantastic.
Paul says someone suggested once to spray antiperspirant on your forehead. Not sure that's wise, as it would stop you sweating out. I've not heard of that, but yeah.
Roll on, maybe.
I'll give it a go.
Well, either that, you get your Botox, don't you? That's
it,
get your filler and Botox done before every sort of event.
No. Is it wearing off already?
So while we're still chatting goggles and the like, do you guys do any other sort of customization? Because I say I was quite chuffed with my little Suga effort. So for those that don't know what Suga is, it's basically like a little putty. It's like Play-Doh to start with, and then it dries into like a hard or relatively hard silicon. But I use that just to make sure that the gap in these was basically a lot closer to the bridge of my nose. But I mean, you can use Suga for all sorts of stuff. But I just wasn't sure if you guys had done any sort of various customization or anything of yours.
I did. To my mask, I changed the lens. I made my own lenses for that. Changed them out for polycarbonate lenses, because obviously the originals they don't shatter. There is a video. I don't know if I put it on our page. I might have put it on our page, but it's on my YouTube channel. There's a video of me testing the originals in this, and although they didn't shatter, and it was from about 2 meters away with a 350 FPS AEG, only on semi, didn't full auto or anything, but it contacted the lens, the original lens, and what happened was it split and cracked all the way around the perimeter there. So to me, obviously, that's not going to stand up against a BB strike, because it's obviously cracked it. Didn't smash it and send stuff flying into the mask or anything like that, but it did crack it all the way around. So I was happy to sacrifice the original, so I was going to change them out anyhow, so I'm not too fussed by that. Changed them out to polycarbonate. I think it's like 2.5 mil, 3 mil thick. And I put literally a full mag onto one of these, and it didn't even leave a mark on it. So, yeah. You can get these on eBay as well. They do actually do them. I just made them myself, saved myself 30 odd quid, but you can get them replacement lenses for these masks and that. And with the GSR I've got, I haven't tested this, but so I'm led to believe that is already ballistic rated. So there should be no need to change this out, but I'm yet to try it. But I'm reliably informed by several people that this is good to go as it is out the box, if you like. So yeah, the only customization I've done really is sprayed your mesh goggles, Mike, and them. So
it is. Anything,
no, likewise for me, as I mentioned, I switched over to mesh, which has never given me the need to try and customize anything. I think, as I said, the only learnings for us, trying the Edge Tactical, when I started to sweat, it was a problem. So just, spent a few quid on a nice thick headband, and I changed that halfway during the day, which just absorbs it, stops it getting onto the lenses. And as I said, touch wood, for one decent skirmish, that I was being able to wear sort of a sensible eye pro again. So other than that, no.
Fair dues.
Well, do you guys run a spare set with you? Sorry, Mike.
No, sorry.
In regards, I mean, obviously, when I took out these, yes, obviously I had mesh in my bag. as a backup. And I must admit, for one event, I did need someone just to get them out because, the mesh out because it was a problem. But obviously after I sort of, tweaked a little bit of what I was doing, then I didn't need them after that. I think Paul, again, obviously just looking at the comments, Paul Howson, do you not find mesh blurs your vision? I don't personally. Your eyes adapt to it. I think like anything,
see, that's the whole thing again with the lighter coloured mesh on the inside as well. With the darker mesh, it will blur your vision, but if it's sprayed lighter on the inside, you'll find you're I don't know, it's like taking no notice of it. You know what I mean? You're seeing the wood through the trees, if you know what I mean. So
yeah,
that's what I found.
I always find you're sitting there, you're standing there with your mesh on, and you sort of open your eyes. And you open them again, your eyes just adapt to it after a while. But I think, like I say, keep your mesh light in regards to a colour. And again, as I said, there are different companies that do different types of mesh. Health and safety conscious. You have to do your research. But certainly, the piece around Hero Sharks, it's all hexagonal mesh, and that seems to work for me.
Yep, nice, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've always got a spare pair of mesh. Literally, because these are, they just sit in a pouch fairly nice and easily. It's just always a backup, really, because I just can't trust any goggles or lenses not to fog. And there's nothing worse than when you're running into a building you can't see jack shit.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I always go. I mean, luckily enough, I've got the interchangeable lenses, but I've actually got 3 sets of Sawfly already set up. So I've got the yellow, smoke, and the clear. So I'll always have a couple of these in one of the pouches that come with the in the day sack or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Or in some sort of utility pouch whenever I go out. So I'll have my pair on, plus I'll have 2 other pairs in my bag. So yeah, I'll always have spares on me.
It is. Andy Bob says, "What's the advantage of the yellow lens in woodland? What does it actually do to be better?"
I just find there's more clarity, and it's certain things seem to be. It's easier to pick up certain things. In woodland with the yellow lenses in. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm no expert when it comes to lens formations and the reasonings for the colour they've chosen or what they've done with them, but it seems to enhance the light. Although you're under a canopy and it's a little bit darker, when you've got the yellow lens on, it seems to enhance the light that is there. It's almost like day-night vision-y type thing, sort of want to go down that sort of road, but it just seems to be a lot more clarity, and you can pick things up through tree lines and through marshlands or scrublands like that, where you've got tall bushes and things like that, bracken and bits and bobs. You can just seem to ID things a lot easier with the yellow. It makes it almost like HD all around. It's really cool. Definitely worth a try. If you go from clear lenses and you can actually change them whilst you're out there, just whip your yellows on quickly. You'll see what I'm talking about. Darker areas of the woodland suddenly become brighter, and targets you can easily pick up more targets with them a lot easier as well, easier to spot. That's what I found personally. Yeah,
I think it's to do with the contrast, isn't it? Isn't it just like you've got that different light?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's
the lens.
It's a funny old setup, but they are good. They are good.
Everyone in the chat sort of saying the similar thing, but I don't think we're all 100% sure. Isn't it?
I've just put them on now and
green. James said yellow lenses are a colour thing that help you spot colour differences. It also brightens what you see. Lee says tones down a lot of colours I find, and I see a lot more. So Rage, I'm not sure which mic you're referring to. I mean, I'll just talk about mine quickly. So mine are awful at night. Literally, this mesh particular. So these are black on the inside. These don't let a lot of light through to start with. The ones that Lance lent me or gave me or whatever, these are better. But I'll be honest with you, I've been looking at the Hero Shark ones as well, because the size of the holes in these aren't particularly big to start with. So I struggle at night.
I've been all right, to be fair. Like I say, I've been using Hero Shark, mesh for a long time. But then equally, who am I to talk about getting around at night when I massively overcompensate with devices? So but no, removing all of that, the Hero Shark ones work okay for me at night. I'm sure. Again, I really can't remember that MilSim I popped up to for the night bits, Lance. The last one, Apocalypse, before we all went into lockdown and that. For the life of me, I can't remember what I was wearing. I think I was probably wearing the Hero Sharks, and I got around the site absolutely no problems.
I remember it's the last. It was the Falklands type-esque MilSim, but it was the current loadout NATO. I believe in.
Yeah, so
I think it was something like that.
So for me,
the Taliban, wasn't it?
It's NATO, and then it was like a Russian Taliban mix sort of thing. Yeah.
I mean, certainly, I flick back to when we done the Vietnamese MilSim, so there would have been no night devices, and I got around probably as well as anyone else on my team without a night device, which was fumbling and thrashing around in the dark. But, all right, to be fair, I think, as I said, there are, again, not to put Hero Shark on a pedestal, but he certainly seems to do a lot of research into his mesh, and they seem to be a bit different from the norm. But maybe try a set, see how you get on with that, mate.
But I mean, again, Mike, you say that, mate, but if they work for you, bud, then absolutely put them up there. If it's worked for you, then there's no reason why. If someone else struggles with night time and they're using mesh goggles as well, then there's no reason why it shouldn't work for them. So
I know.
I'm just lucky, I guess. I don't put any treatment on my glasses. I don't know what it is, chap. I couldn't tell you, but I haven't put anything on them. Like I said, apart from a little bit of spit and rubbed it on my sleeve or the cuff of my shirt. That's been about it, and they seem to have been okay. This is what's going to happen now. Next to MilSim I go to, this is going to fog up to buggery now, and I wish I hadn't said anything. That's what's going to happen.
I was just going to say, I know Hero Shark's done a lot of testing, because I've seen like some of the comments that get left on his page about, just people that don't necessarily know any better, but are just like, yeah, mesh is shit.
Bye. That's it. Yeah, it's like, thanks for that.
Everyone's got your own opinion and stuff, but I know he's done a lot of testing and bits and pieces on his gear to sort of prove it. So,
Even Reese.
Hi, Reese. Hutchie. Oh, everyone's hit 18. We've got 18 viewers. That's the highest we've had in a little while.
Go on, the lads.
It's because Mike's back. That's why.
That's it, yeah.
We threw out the eye candy.
That's it, yeah, baby. As soon as that mention of sweat, within the first 30 seconds, it's like, what's this? Sweat. Let me join.
False advertising, lads. False advertising.
I wanted to go on to Face Pro a little bit. So I've got two little products I was going to talk about first. This is something called Steel Mouth. I actually imported these from the US. I think they are more common over here now. But it's basically a little panel of mesh that you can weave into various things. So you can either attach it to a balaclava or anything like yourself. You can put little bungees on there, and it basically sits there. It's a straight section of mesh that is designed to bend, so you can actually sort of mold it to your own face.
Okay.
So I bought a couple of these. I have actually got one sewn into a balaclava. I don't generally tend to wear it that often because I just get too hot in the balaclava, to be brutally honest. But yeah, I mean that was a nice little product I bought. I think I actually got the price on it as well. So that was £10 on its own, which is, to be honest with you,
if you don't want a full face mesh, you can literally just go with the essential bit.
Literally just have that. Yeah, I mean one of the advantages with this that and one of the reasons I liked it when I bought it was someone had created their own little rig that they could stick this on their face on its own, and then they could put whatever they like. So they had like a Shima or whatever we're calling it. You can get obviously the snoods or anything like that. So that was one little sort of nifty product. But
so I'm sort of kicking myself now because I was thinking about bringing a snood up earlier and I didn't. So there's two, and again, apologies if I'm plugging businesses, but I'm sure they won't mind because they're generally quite established. So I generally wear a snood all day, and it's got the similar to what you've got there, Mike, but it's already got the steel mesh woven in it already. So there's two companies that generally have, I think Jason Sladens has put one of them in there. You got Delta Mike Face Pro, and the guy is exceptional in regards to the service. Really, really good, really, really good. And then Baz Jones has just said about Airsoft Face Pro. So I use both. The products are fantastic. They are fantastic. However, if I'm going to be massively critical, the Delta Mike Face Pro, the service and the turnaround times are fantastic. If I'm being a bit critical, and I'm sure the person that runs Airsoft Face Pro won't mind me saying, but sometimes the lead times and the service from Airsoft Face Pro can be quite shocking. But his products, I would say, are a little bit more innovative than Delta Mike Face Pro. So Delta Mike Face Pro, brilliant snooze with a square mesh, which will either go over your face, or for people like me that's got a big nose, it can just go over the beak of the nose. However, the guy that runs Airsoft Face Pro again has just a little bit more into it. He does like hexagonal mouth guards, and he does a little bit more on there, so it covers the beak up as well. They're both really, really good. Like I say, if I was being critical, Airsoft Face Pro service levels could get better, But in regards to the actual products, they're both really, really good. And you do see a hell of a lot of people wearing them now. You know, I remember my early days in Airsoft, you know, I'd have, you know, my hat on, my glasses, and then I'd have, you know, one of those, you know, mesh face guards, you know, over my face, you know, and it is quite restrictive, you know, and it's all sort of, you know, elasticated straps either onto the helmet or around the back of your head. Whereas the mesh snoods are exceptional because you can just flick them down. You know, flick them up, flick them down. You know, the mesh, you know, the mesh bits at the front, you can bend it so it sits over your big nose in my case, you know, put it around your chin, etc. So, you know, I really speak highly of those two particular, you know, Facebook service providers. I think, you know, and a lot of people, the minute you started talking about snoods, and I did, the exact two names come up: Airsoft Face Pro and Delta Mike Face Pro, both exceptional. And I think, you know, their products are like 20 quid, 25 quid each, possibly. And they do, you know, all of your different colours, you know, everything from your digicams, you know, your arids, multicams, ODs, tans, you name it. And I think, you know, for me, it's just a nice little compliment as well. And I think, as I mentioned to you guys, you know, I generally would wear a snood, you know, and I'd have it over my ear rolls. I'm sure other people will echo my sentiments of being shot in the ear roll stings. You know,
yeah,
and I've got
that does.
You know, and as we all know, the older we get, the bigger our ear rolls get. They never stop growing, do they? You know, and having them over your ears, you know, is you know, very, very useful, isn't it?
I'd say ear roll, being shot in the ear roll is on par with getting shot in the tip of the finger. Now that fucking proper smart that does, but yeah, the ear roll does it. Oh, that's a wake up call. That is early in the morning.
Yeah.
Why, I'm up, I'm awake.
Yeah.
Actually, following on from that, that was actually one of the other products. It's not the I can't remember what called it now. What would you call it? Pull it up. It's gone. What are the Delta Face Pro stuff called?
Snoods.
Snood. Yeah, sorry.
Snood.
Yeah, it's just completely skipped my mind. This is obviously not a snood. This is a proper mask. I generally tend to run one of these in my kit as well. I've got sort of different colours depending on what loadout we're going in for. But if there's any sort of building clearance or something like that, you know, something I can just quickly whip out. I don't generally tend to wear a snood that much because, again, I'm just conscious of overheating. So I always try and keep sort of relatively sort of free flowing as much as possible. But this is quite a nice little system that you can just obviously whack that on if you need to and then take it off again. But I think this is one Tigris. And these are quite nice as well. I mean, the same as the snood. You know, the number of times I've seen sort of people running around in like big, massive mesh face masks and stuff, and then trying to aim their gun.
Riot guards.
You know, yeah, you know, and they're trying to aim their gun, and it's kind of like, you know, you can't quite get close enough to it because they've got all this big mesh sort of stopping them from getting up against the stock. Whereas these obviously have the little soft panels on the side, so they give you like the actual thick protection, but you can obviously still aim down your sights and stuff.
Mine's quite good because mine just sort of moves with my body and my face, and it just blends around the gun, and I can mould it into different shapes, and it holds twigs and wildlife.
Doesn't protect your teeth though, Lance.
Well, if once it's a bit longer, I can just sort of bite it, just keep it in my mouth. Like but then I don't go running around playing Airsoft smiling all day long, so I don't know how some people get it in the teeth. But
right, I mean, it's a fair point. Obviously, I was going to ask actually, but Andy's just jumped the gun. He said their gum shields are getting more and more common. Are they really that safe? And talking to someone on comms with one is a nightmare. Yeah, I was going to ask you guys what your thoughts were on gum shields. Because of exactly that. I've had a conversation with someone with gum shield, and they have to keep taking it out, and then they had this gobby rubber thing in their hand while they were talking to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
what are your thoughts on gum shields?
If it works for the individual, it works for the individual. You know, it's not something for me. You know, I don't like being, you know, shot in the face by a BB, so I'll wear a snood. Simple as that, really.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
You know, you do get people that, you know, are a little bit more sort of, you know, susceptible to having a whack in the face and enjoying the pain a little bit more, however macabre that may be. But you know, it's down to the individual.
Coming out now.
Yeah, you know, and equally, you know, I think, you know, look, you know, you're right. You know, you put a gum shield in, you know, and you're trying to communicate. You know, it's not going to be ideal. But then, you know, if you're out sniping on your own for the majority of the day, and that's what works for you, that's what works for you, isn't it? I think you know, and I think there's been a common theme in the comments throughout that, you know, it's what works for you, isn't it? You know,
absolutely, mate.
gum shields aren't for me, but it's it's what works. And I'm sure we've all done the trial and error of buying something doesn't work. It goes on a second hand.
Oh,
a
I've gone through loads.
form.
First going out, I bought the like the skeletal mask type thing with the mesh. Can't remember the name of the camo pattern now. It had like the mesh mouth, it had the mesh eyes, all that whole business, 360-degree protection. I had the Predator mask. I bought that and put it on. I was like, yeah, that's going to be in the Halloween box. Keep that there. And then I just went to spectacles, and that's it. It's just been a pair of glasses ever since. So, yeah, I don't mind taking a whack in the face. Really, doesn't really bother me too much. Whether that's my stupidity coming out.
Thing. I mean, I've been playing Airsoft for maybe 13 years now. And it's very rare that I get shot in the face, and that's not to say that we're not. I mean, to be fair, I don't normally play CQB games, so that's a complete whole different ball game. I
totally get that. If you're in buildings and you only ever play not speed soft type, well, maybe speed soft, they wear them crazy wicked mask type things, but I can see that if you're potentially coming around, the whole game is based around you going around corners and potentially being muzzle to muzzle with someone that can empty a clip in like half a second, then yeah, I want a spacesuit. Do you know what I mean? But, for us, more like woodland bashers and that, and some villages at Longmoor and that, then we can sort of go down on the level of face protection you need. Obviously, the SNID there, but I can't see you needing like a full, RoboCop type helmet type setup.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, a CQB is not for me, but I think if I did, I would be literally fucking head to toe in something like that.
Yeah, I'd be dripping in it. Give me all of it.
We'll just jump in the chat. Baz Jones said, yes, steel mouth, but just checked they don't do them any longer. Oh, so if anyone wants to buy an antique, I've got an antique steel mouth going.
£100.
I do actually have a couple of these unopened, so there we go. I could sell these at a much higher inflated cost, and I could buy some night vision. That'd be great. Octo8, this is a good point. Safety aside, some of the lower face protection is a bit of an immersion killer. Yes, completely agree. I guess that's the toss-up between health and safety and involvement. I mean, you see some of the Di-4 masks now. I'm interested because nobody's suggested these in the chat yet. These Di-4 masks, they're massive. It's like you're putting on a motorcycle helmet from what I've seen, and people are saying, oh, they're great, they don't fog. It's like, yeah, but you've got a head that's now 3 times bigger.
I must admit, I would quite happily roll out of a squad of Mandalorians if there was if they ever rocked up, because I just think that looks fucking cool as fuck. That really does. I love that. You know what I mean? Just be a load of Mandalorians behind, like, let's go, let's just go. Fuck tactical, just go.
Mike Brewer says, Mike, you've jinxed it now. JTF headshots all day. Yeah. We're going to get absolutely shot to crap from now on.
I was doing it. No denying it. If you get one in the face and your cheeks bleed, like, yeah, I'm it. Proper hit.
Yeah. Simon mentioned in the chat. So Simon's obviously been a marshal for quite a few years. And he says he's seen more split lips from mouth shots with gum shields in it. Does give the lip less stretch and easier to split open. So that's an interesting thought.
I guess so. The gum shield putting tension on it and actually sort of forcing it out. Yeah. That. Luckily enough, I've never split a lip or anything.
Jason said, I find that back in the days when only higher guns and noobs were full-faced, less people got shot in the face. I think it just made you think twice about where you presented your face in case it got shot. CQB is a different matter. I mean,
get that.
To be honest with you, whilst I don't know what everyone else's opinion on this. I don't generally try and aim for people in the face to start with. I think
it's far easier to shoot them in the body because it's a bigger target for me. Yeah. You just want to get them hit. You know, the objective of the game is to hit them out of the game. It's not to injure someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, there are obviously times that you have to shoot people in the head, potentially. But
are we going there? Are we going there?
No. Hang on. Sorry. I wasn't. Right. Not referring to anybody or anything like that. That's not where I'm going.
Public service announcement.
I just meant in terms of sometimes when you're in a firefight situation like that, and if that's the only thing you can see because they keep popping it out or whatever like that, it's
100%.
That's what that's effectively what you're aiming at, and there are accidental being shot in the head as well. People don't. I mean, Andy Bob just said, you guys aim. Oh, that's fine. I'm assuming that's what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, I mean, people don't always. It's spur of the moment. I run an LMG. If I get shocked, I'm firing all over the place. So yeah, I mean, it's a good point. That maybe just don't aim for people in the face, and we could try and reduce a little bit of that. But yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm exactly the same as that, mate. If it's not necessary, it's not necessary. I mean, I'll quite happily just pop someone in the middle of the chest rig, centre of mass, bosh, man's down, he's out there, blah, 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 blah. Work through all the hundreds of targets I take out in one clip, and fucking, But there comes a point, like you said, if someone's ducking and diving in a window in a door space like that, and they're sticking their head out, and you get the timings right, but he's out, he's in, he's out, he's in, bang, he's out, and then wallop, you hit him in the head, then that's fair game. And I'd be exactly the same if I got whacked in the head from looking out of a window. Shame on me for sticking my head out the fucking window, really, at the end of the day. But that's the game, But one I don't like is people getting shot, who get shot in the face for doing that very movement, but they're moaning about getting hit in the face. Yeah. Because I've been there before where you've been in a firefight and so, it's just hit me in the fucking face. No need for that. Well, mate, there was, because it's the only part of the body that he can see of you. He can't shoot you through the wall. He can only see your head. Or it could be
accidental or anything like that.
Exactly, mate. Yeah. I ain't getting into that now. I've got to go to work in a bit.
You're right. It's an interesting topic, isn't it? And I don't think you're ever going to, win an argument. I don't think there's nothing to be won out of it. But there is mitigation, isn't there? Like I say, it's I don't like being shot in the face, so I wear a mesh snood. But that doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean that I have to. Like I say, you would think that the common courtesy of your fellow man, and I suppose that I suppose my thought on this, is that we talk about MilSim. So I suppose if I'm going to a MilSim and my face is on display and it gets twatted and my centre of mass wasn't, then so be it. It happens, doesn't it? But you would expect a little bit more of a better established caliber of player, that they're not out there to go and do deliberate headshots, cause people harm, etc.
Exactly that, mate. Exactly
but it is such a grey area, this whole conversation, and I know it's been done to death, on forums, Facebook, Reddit. We don't.
You just see it, don't you? You can be scrolling through something, you'll just see a post. Do you agree with headshots in it? And you just think, oh no.
It's just classic. The picture of the guy with the popcorn. I'm just here for the comments.
Yeah.
Yes, Michael Jackson usually in the front row of the cinema, just eating popcorn. Let's go. Simon's
just put a good point. It's quite a nice one to end on, which is times I've headshot people, or always shout out sorry, and if it looks like they're hurt, I'll stop and check on them. Safety over playing, and I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're doing a game. We're not actually trying to take the limb off an enemy. So it's a good point.
I've done it myself a couple of times. I've bopped a couple of people in the head, not meant to, and I've totally, as soon as they've said like hit like that, I've been, mate, you okay? Thumbs up, sorry, apologise.
No, we've all been there, and it's like that, isn't it? Look, I twatted someone in the face. Fuck. It was a good shot, but are you all right? You know what I mean? And it's common courtesy and respect, isn't it? It's a case of it just needs that sometimes, just to de-escalate it, to say, shit, are you all right?
Exactly.
9 times out of 10, the person's like, it's things like FUCK, but it's all right.
Mike says
it just de-escalates the situation. I missed the first comment.
That was it was the headshots all day one. He said, I was only joking. Yeah, that's right. That's what he says now.
Oh, of course, yeah.
With all the PMC are all lying there with welts on their heads.
Good one, Mike.
Anyway, right, I just want to do a quick reminder on the giveaway for those that joined us sort of halfway through the episode. We've obviously got our MilSim in a bag sort of care package giveaway going on. Please, if you want to help in any way, if you could just share. There's a couple of images coming out, and there'll be some more coming out which actually have some of the company branding and bits and pieces on once we've got that sort of sorted out. If you could just put a copy of that in like a group team chat or something like that, it just helps it get out and about. If we can just spread the message a bit more, then we can find the best person that suits the bag. Really, just want to find the sort of person that's
no reason why someone can't take part in an event because they've had a run of bad luck, or like Mike said at the beginning, their kit's been destroyed, stolen, or anything like that. And it's just, and it is an expensive hobby to get into, regardless of it being MilSim or skirmish. But then to go from skirmish into that MilSim aspect of things, there's all the other bits and bobs that go along with it. Not only just for sleeping out under the stars, but there's a safety side of it as well. There's like the first aid kits and bits and bobs like that you have to consider for weekend events and things like that. So and it's not to be sort of taken lightly. And for some, I'd hate to think that someone's not who's itching to do it, who can't do it for whatever reason it is. You know, that I've got that really puts a bee in my bonnet. So obviously this bag is for that someone who's out there, you know, potentially listening now. We don't know, but so yeah, it'd be great, guys, if you can help us. You can get the word out there that we want to get this bag to someone. And it's like Mike said, it's a full MilSim in a kit. It's your sleep system, it's your cook set, it's your shelter system, a few bits and bobs in there as well. You know, there could well be a multi-tool, there's head torch, things like that, some swish, blue ribbons. There'll be a few other little bits and bobs from the NoFo team that we're going to sort of chuck in there as well, just to make sure that you've got everything you need for a full weekend, you know, out under the stars or in a building, whatever it is you're going to be, whatever event you're attending, you're going to be able to do that safely with all your kits and your burger on your back. So yeah, let's get the word out there and let's make someone's weekend.
And just a reminder of our email address is nofochat@hotmail.com if you want to nominate anybody. And if you've got any questions about it, then feel free to just pop us a message on our email, Instagram, November_Foxtrot_NoFo, Facebook at November Foxtrot NoFo. I'm never going to get this right. And YouTube, November Foxtrot. So even just leaving messages in the comments or whatever like that, we'll pick those up. So
absolutely.
Right. Sorry, Ray just said that bloody swish. It's great. It's great.
Good,
Highly recommend.
And then my instructional video as well is on the page. So yeah, if you're unsure, I was all right.
Flavors as well.
I didn't wake up naked in the woods, as I first thought. So slightly disappointed and slightly relieved at the same time. That was a really weird situation to be in, but.
Right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. It's been a good episode. I can't remember off the top of my head what we're talking about next week. I'm sorry, I should have looked that up.
A quick comment from Gaz there. Gaz, send us a private message, mate, after the show. Be very interested in that. Yeah, lovely. Thanks. That's much appreciated, bud. Very kind of you.
I can't find it quick enough. Sorry, guys.
Wasn't loadouts, is it, or night vision?
Oh, we've got a general Q&A next week. So it'll just be, if anyone's got any questions about anything, just whack them in the chat. And we'll just sort of form an episode ad hoc. We'll see where the mood takes us on whatever. So yeah, join us next week. Could be a bit crazy. We'll see how it goes. As then, have a good one. We'll see you soon.
Thanks all. See ya. Bye.
Good night all. Be safe.